Oh my gosh. Good morning. I feel like I'm like a little frazzled because I had a conference yesterday. So I'm just like I'm waking up still. Have
I feel that.
coffee with my main character energy.
Oh, that's cute. Well, I have my Harry Potter mug.
I love it.
It's like the Lord of the Rings one that I gave you, but it's Harry Potter.
I love the Lord of the Rings. I was using it the other day and someone was over at my house and was like, "This is so cute." And I was like, "I know. It's for my best friend." Well, I'm so excited to be chatting for everyone who is watching.
Which, speaking of, hi, good morning.
Good morning. I'm getting a little bit really quickly of an echo. Are you hearing? I think it might be me because I just tried out this new.
I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. Mrs. Barbosa, if you hear my voice echoing, can you let us know in the chat? Because I'm just trying out my mic, which I haven't tried in a very long time. But for anyone who's maybe been following me on social media, you'll know that I went to Collector Summit last weekend. I'm like, what day is it?
You're like, when was this?
And Candace and I have not been able to catch up, so I'm excited to chat about it and show some of the things I got. Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about it because, like you said, we haven't really caught up about it. So yeah. Ooh, I spy the Gilmore Girls mug I got for you.
Oh yeah, this is from Candace.
I got it from the Warner Brothers tour.
Okay, so yeah, I went to Dallas, which by the way was so cold in Chicago. It was like 60 to 80 degrees in Dallas, which was
wow. Yeah, jealous, definitely.
It was like the week that it snowed on Halloween.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, well, perfect timing then.
Yeah, no, it was great. And so Collector Summit focuses on Golden Age comics and pulp magazines. So there wasn't like any modern comics. I feel like maybe there was like some like Silver Age comics there, but it was mainly like the bigger, like the older books, which was really cool. It took place at Heritage Auction House. And one of my favorite parts is that they took you on a private tour, like on preview night, of the auction warehouse. So they took you through different sections of Heritage's warehouse. So it wasn't just like they're only showing you comics. So we went in, and the first things that they were showing us were like lunar maps from the Apollo missions and things that like made their way with like the Apollo teams to the moon, which was
that's cool.
So crazy. Yeah. Then they showed us, which you're gonna get a kick out of this, Jim Carrey's The Mask. Oh, my favorite movie.
not mine, definitely, but
no, it terrified me as a child. Like I remember like watching it and crying and like telling my dad that like I will never forgive him for renting it for me. I was so small. And I have like trauma because of them.
Okay, that one's fair. That's what, one thing is Toy Story. I can't support you on, but that I can.
Well, they had Jim Carrey's like actual like mask. Like the green mask, and then the one that he puts on and that makes him green. So they had those props out, which was really cool. Yeah, they had JFK's Senate bag, which is wild. It was like this really beautiful like leather tote. And then they took us to like the fine arts and decorative arts, and you just saw like, I can't even explain how large this warehouse was because it was like every section you went into was like it opened up and it was huge. Wow. But you just were like, there are paintings and like sculptures and things that you're like, that has to be so old, or that should be in a museum, or all of these different items. Like my mind was melting. They let us hold like Tiffany silverware that was worth more than my life. I was like, this fork is worth like $3,000 by itself. Like the whole
I can't even
collection
imagine that.
was like over like at a estimated value of over like 300,000. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that.
Right? They had meteorites from Mars, which was like this big rock that looked really cool. It was like really crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, they just got everything, don't they? Yeah.
They really did. Then
That's
we went to
cool.
like the sports section, and I held a bat from Willie Mays, which is the old school baseball player. I got to hold a Cartier Super Bowl ring, which was so cool. He was like, "Don't like." I was like, "Are you sure you want me to hold this?" Like, I was like, "Okay, none."
Do they have you wear gloves or anything?
No.
Oh yeah, I'm curious. I was like, maybe they would.
Which like is interesting to me because there was a New York Times article that came out from a bunch of rare book dealers that were like, you should not actually, like, when dealing with rare books, at least you should never wear white gloves. Like it's
really,
it is kind of like this myth that you should be touching books with with special gloves, because at least rare books, because you can't, the pages are so delicate. So if you have gloves on, you're not able to actually feel to the best of your ability. Kind of like when you're turning a page,
makes sense. Yeah,
you're not able to actually handle it as carefully as like people assume you might.
Interesting.
Fredbird, it was so freaking cool. I was like really, really mind blown. So that was like the first night was the auction and just tons of socializing. I have to say, Katie Collectibles, Nate, who does Fanalytics, puts on the Collector Summit with Heritage Auctions, and I was really impressed by. You and I have been to cons, and they're very like overwhelming and like so big, and this is a lot more of an intimate show, so that definitely lends itself to being able to socialize with like almost everyone. You kind of like pass everyone or see everyone in this room. But people were going out to dinner in the same way that you go at regular cons, but there just seemed to be such a good group of people where it was just very like community building, and everyone was so kind. And it was interesting to be at a preview night where most people were just sitting and talking and like doing drinks, and they had hors d'oeuvres and stuff going around. It was really interesting. Rather than like looking at the books. I mean, of course, there were some people looking at books and buying books, but it was really interesting to like walk out, and there were so many people saying like, I didn't even look in the boxes. Like people just wanted to like hang out and talk. And that was a really cool experience. I was like making all these friends, and I was like, so that was really fun. And then the next day was like, obviously we're looking through the books. And I watched, I helped record and watched a video with CGC, because CGC is going to start grading pulp magazines.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like there's going to be like a wave of that kind of coming. And I feel like in my mind, pulp magazines and comic books and novels, like it's like pulp magazines are like the intersection between comic books and like novels, because the inside of it, there isn't like, there's some art that are in pulp magazines, but it's not a comic. It's short stories and like anthologies essentially of like sci-fi, horror, or romance. But people often collect them because of the artwork on the covers, just like
that's
comic.
so true. Yeah.
So that was really fascinating to me. But I didn't know, what I found out there was a lot of famous sci-fi writers and horror writers got their start in pulp. So Philip K. Dick wrote in pulp magazines. Ray Bradbury is the author of Fahrenheit 451, which I feel like a lot of us read maybe in school. He also started in pulps. H.G. Wells. And so me being the literary nerd that I am, I was like, I want to find pulps that have Ray Bradbury stories in it, because I loved Fahrenheit 451. I loved Ray Bradbury. And so I will show you now what I picked up.
Yeah. As soon as you started talking about that, I was like, oh, that's perfect for you.
Yeah, right? I was like, this intersection is bringing all my nerd things together. And I was looking for women pulp like writers, There's a lot that like wrote under pseudonyms, and I just don't
sure.
have the knowledge. I was like, I can't wait to deep dive once I'm home on this, and then have another thing to hyperfixate on. But there are a lot of famous pulp magazine artists like that are women. And hi, Sideful. No, you didn't miss much. I'm just recapping Collector Summit for Candace and you guys, because Candace and I haven't gotten to catch up on that. And just because that was like my first intro to pulp, I didn't have like a lot of knowledge, so I couldn't like go and dig and be like, oh, I'm looking for this person. I was like, I actually have no idea who I'm looking for, but Ray Bradbury is a writer I really admire, and then I was like, okay, like let's just start here. So I'm going to show you what I got. So the first pulp magazine I actually got from Yaniv, which was really cool. It's a dime mystery magazine. It is from January 1948, which is crazy. And it has a short story by Bradbury. It says The Pit, a novel of terror and suspense by G.T. Fleming Roberts. And then it has like the last names of other writers. And I loved it. And it was so like, it felt so me because it has like this Egyptian tomb depiction, which I have a lot of interest in Egyptian mythology and archaeology and that stuff. I have like my like little pyramid Lego set over there and the fountain pen that has hieroglyphics on it. So it was like, this just feels very fitting. Like all my nerd things. I love it.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think you would really like the artwork of pulp magazines. There's some really interesting and cool and really beautiful art.
Yeah, I don't know much about it either, so I definitely would like to learn more.
Yeah, when you come over, we'll have to like flip through them.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that insane? And magazine size is just really fun. They feel like a really good size to like hold in your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the comics as well, like the magazine size.
The ones that are like a little bit bigger.
Yeah, like I have some Afterlife Archie ones that I really like.
The other one I got is Weird Tales. I also think you'll find this pretty cool. It is fun. First of all, it says Death's Bookkeeper, and I was like, yes. Give me bookish horror tales. But it also has a Bradbury story.
Perfect.
I love that there's like Dracula.
I love the spider in the corner too with the web.
These are so beautiful.
Amazing.
This is from
what year?
July 1944.
Yeah, so same era. Nice.
Same. So in the 40s. I'm just like, that's crazy. So this
was 15 cents.
It's like wild. So this was like during World War. When did World War II end? In like 45?
Don't ask me about history.
I feel like World War II was maybe still happening during this when this was published. Maybe?
I think so.
Someone in the chat correct me. Someone who knows history better than Candace and I. But either way, like, right, still within that kind of like era, and that's, I don't know, that feels really fascinating to me because I'm curious to read the stories. I made friends with a guy who ended up purchasing like one of the first Philip K. Dick stories. And guys, it was not good. You like, I like Philip K. Dick, but it's interesting because, right, these are where they started. So you're going to see that some of like authors' early work is not necessarily their best work, which is okay. Yeah. But I was right, 1945.
Okay, thank you.
That makes me feel good. See, I was unsure, so I'm glad that Trailblazing, corrected me, or just like confirmed. But so we sat. Yaniv hosted this like beautiful like party after the show, and he put all of his like artwork and comic stuff, like he had it all on his walls, which was, I'm going to end up posting a video about that. And Candace, I'll just text them to you because it was just like the most insane. It felt like walking in like an original art comic museum, which was Yaniv's house. It was really great. Him and his wife were so welcoming. They got Texas barbecue. So I was able to try Texas barbecue
Yum.
before leaving Dallas. But yeah, I met the guy who got that book. So I was like, could we would you mind if we open it? And we actually, it was really a very fun memory. We sat on the floor where there's this house party going on, and we read the Philip K. Dick story out loud to each other.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
I was like, this has to be the most like nerdy, introverted experience I've ever lived.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I love that.
And it was interesting. You can tell like there are ideas that Philip was like thinking of, like just thinking about in like his early writings that make it to like, you know, his novels and whatnot. But it was super weird and not really great. So it was really funny to read because like every other paragraph we were looking at each other like, what is happening? This is so absurd.
That's fun. Actually made the experience even better, actually reading it together and your reactions.
Exactly. Can we talk about the barbecue place? It was so good. It was delicious. I
so good.
Don't know where they ordered catering from, but there was like mac and cheese with bacon in it. Yeah.
You had me at mac and cheese. You know I love mac and cheese.
And really good brisket. Guys, I'm hungry right now.
Oh, I haven't eaten breakfast yet, so you're making me hungry.
I know, neither have I. And then I also have to say, like, I got those, like, those were like, oh, wait, no, I got one more thing, but I got such a good deal on it. It's not, at least for me, it's not a show that you walk out with a stack of books. I was seeing people walk out with a stack of books, but since it is Golden Age and pulp magazines, they're not cheap. It's definitely, I felt like the Collector Summit is a place where you go to, like, you have deep pockets, you're spending a lot of money. I would highly recommend, like, if you have any interest in Golden Age or vintage or pulp magazines, to go, even if you're like, okay, I'm not going to be able to, like, buy a lot or even really buy anything, because so many people there have so much really cool knowledge that they were just willing to sit down and talk and share. Like I talked to the kindest man and his wife. They sold me the Weird Tales, but his name's Dave. I think it's fantasy. I have to look at what his business is. He has a website. They're not on social media, but they're like this real like older couple, and they've collected pulps for forever. And he also collects rare books. So, I was like, let me talk to you. But they just kind of gave me like an intro education, and he told me to email him so that he could send me some book recommendations to learn more on the history of the stuff. And he was so adorable. He was also like my height. And I was like, I want to put you in my back pocket and take you. I
love this for you. It's just like, I mean, no, for real. I love like you were making all those connections. I mean, I remember that was one thing with Short Box, that it was a lot smaller, so we had that kind of similar experience. And of course, that was also Golden Age. So although I did find my modern comics, like that was something that it was really cool to be exposed to, like all of those Golden Age comics, and like I felt like we learned a lot during that show as well. So that's really cool that it was similar, and that you also had that time with like a lot of people from the community and the sellers and everything. So I love that.
It was so good. And it was like all my like nerdy history people. I was like, yes, this is people, it. Yeah. I honestly, and Dave was from Seattle, and so I was like, I'm gonna be visiting Seattle more anyways. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to visit you and your wife, because they are just such cool folks. How much the issues normally run for, I can't say for certain how much they normally run for. I'm just not that well versed in pulp magazines, but just for an example, these were cheap. And this is $135. I got it for $120. And then this was Yaniv gave us a very good deal. He said $100, but I think this was like almost like $200.
Oh wow!
To me for like $100, and I was like, so they're pricey. I was like looking, and I was like,
in the hundreds,
400, 600,
at least
800, and I was like, no, thank you.
Pass.
But I couldn't leave.
Of course. Oh my God.
Yeah, I got this for like $10 and I was like, what a
Oh,
great,
really?
yeah, what a great deal. I love like the kind of like snow
Oh,
kind
it's
of campfire,
adorable. I love her little outfit.
right? Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I had to
Yeah,
get
$10.
that.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
And then Devin was super sweet. He had like sold some books, bought some books, but then had spotted something that my comic shop had, and he got it for me for like helping out
Oh
record
yeah, I saw
content and
that.
stuff. So I have my second piece of original art,
Oh my god.
Millie the model, which I love.
Yeah, if my
Very,
mom is still here, she's gonna love that.
yeah, it's so fun. I can't wait to frame this and put it up with the Katie Keene. It's just
That's beautiful.
they're gonna look so good. So I mean that was so sweet, and
Oh, yeah.
Devin's the best.
He's always the cutest.
Yeah, we hung out with him at Shortbox Live as well, Candace and I, and it was
Yeah.
just such a good old time. So yeah, that was Collector Summit. It was super fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the Millie the Model original art. Yeah, no, it was a good time. I obviously missed you. I think you would have like just really loved like hanging out with everyone. And then I met Something Wong in person, and he is such a sweetheart. And you know, you don't know people's like faces because some people don't post their face on social media. So he had come up to me, and like it had like a delayed brain reaction. He like told me his handle, and I was like, oh my god, like that's who you are. And I was like, I gave him a big old hug and was like, that's,
I know, I love
amazing.
that part about meeting people at these cons too. It's just finally getting a face to a name.
And he was like, where's your bestie? And I was like, unfortunately not here.
Not here.
But very much miss. So yeah, that was Collector Summit.
I love it. So I actually have some things I want to share that are obviously not from that, but just a couple of things that I received. So actually, Haley hasn't officially seen these either. So.
We haven't caught up. You guys are getting a look into our catch-up session, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is I actually got like a little birthday gift. Me and Carlos, my boyfriend, we went to Challengers Comics yesterday, and of course Haley and we have a friend, Patrick, that works there, and who's an awesome human, and he actually had a little bit of like something for my birthday, and then something that apparently he's been holding on to for like a year, just that he didn't need it. So the first thing that was just, he's like, I had this for like a year for you, but I had to do with like moving, and he's like, I don't need this. So he gave me the Buffy the Vampire Slayer library edition for season 12.
That's awesome.
Which me and Buffy, this is another one where I keep rereading the same like parts of the
You're like, I've reread the first 7 issues over and over again and haven't made it past.
But it's so good though. I don't know why. So now I think it'll be it's honestly easier when I have these like just collected editions to fly through it. Because I do have a couple of these. I think I have one from the first season, and then maybe one from season 9 or 10 or something. So yeah, I was really excited about that. Very generous. And then he also got me. Sweet. He also got me. So if anyone remembers, I didn't end up unfortunately completing this, but one of my goals this year was to kind of collect for my 30th birthday, which I kept calling it 30 for 30 comics for 30
which you still can do because you just turned 30. So you literally have the whole year until you're 31, and then
that is a great point. I feel better now.
Yeah, we should continue.
I actually got through about maybe like 15. Some of them that I thought they were that date, they actually weren't. But anyway, if you haven't heard about this, my birthday was October 28, 1993. So I was collecting like either having the cover say October 93 or it was published in October 93. So Patrick got me his Captain America, which he purposely got Captain America because that's just one of his like favorites, and he wanted it to be especially from him. So this one I didn't have. I don't even know if I knew about this one, honestly. So I was really
That's such
pleasantly
a good
surprised and
cover too.
thought that was really nice because now I'm one step closer to reaching 30. So thank you, Patrick. And then
Your 30th birthday was so fun.
oh yeah, good times, good times. Yeah, then this I just wanted to I just received this. I received issues 1 through 3 that I think I talked about the first issue in one of our previous episodes, but from Cape Publicity, I got the third issue for The Case of the Bleeding Wall. I'm still reading through this series. I still only read the first one, but I kind of wanted to still show you. It's a 3 or this is the third issue of 4 in the series, which I love just having like little short series to read, and it's a horror one. And Haley just received some as well, so maybe we'll be able to talk about this more.
Well, in full transparency, Cape Publicity is where I work, but I am not actually working on this project. It's another marketer, and so when we're not working on like the same project, like I haven't read Case of the Bleeding Wall, but they actually just sent me. I asked because Candace sold me on it too. I asked my colleague to send me issues 1 through the like upcoming issues. So I just received 1 through 2 because the artwork looked really cool.
Oh yeah, it's really good, and
the story was really well done.
I enjoyed it because it definitely gives me kind of like, I believe from what I remember, she's like she like fights demons and stuff like that. It gave me like Buffy vibes, kind of.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited to keep reading this, but yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Thank you. I'm excited to read the rest.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive in, and that'll give us some more stuff to talk about.
Oh, of course, any excuse.
Any excuse. So I guess we can jump into our geeky gossip.
Yes.
So first up, we have Lego Avengers Tower, which this looks so insane. Candace, have you been seeing like the photos kind of like floating around of the Avengers Tower, or was it kind of when I told you about it, was that one of the first times you were seeing it?
I don't think so. I feel like I've seen more of like some of the other builds, like the Daily Bugle, which Challengers has like a huge display of it. We were looking at it yesterday.
It's huge.
And that is huge as well. I don't know if this one is any bigger, but no, I just only saw pictures from when I was building the deck here. But yeah, it looks awesome. I wonder do you know how tall it is by chance?
I think it's going to be as tall, if not a little bit taller than the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
So it has big. Like 5,000, over 5,000 pieces. And it has a ton of minifigures. I want to say it has between 15 to 18 minifigures. It's really crazy. You're getting a lot.
Wow.
I mean, the build, I've seen some Lego YouTubers already kind of either have it or do reviews on the set because it's coming out this year. I think it's coming out around
the holidays, maybe
this month. I think I might be wrong, but I think it's coming out for Black Friday.
Oh, very nice.
I think I could be wrong. The price point on it, I think, is around like $500. Like it's
expect that.
Yeah, it's up there with the Bugle and like the Rivendell set. Like this is definitely like kind of almost like the Ultimate Collector series for Marvel. Like you get the Daily Bugle, then you'll have the Avengers Tower. It's really well done in terms of like the build. But yeah, it is a lot of money. Like this is not something that I think I would ever purchase for myself, mostly because the size of it it's incredibly tall and it's really big. But I just, as much as I love Marvel and Avengers and all of that stuff, my affinity for it doesn't kind of like lean into the Bugle or the Avengers Tower. Like I'm not as specifically tied to that, but I think that this is definitely going to be like a must buy for any of the, people who love the Marvel Lego sets, and especially like anyone who just like wants to like showcase something like this, like the Avengers Tower. I'm not sure. I don't know that I've seen a lot of statues of Avengers Tower or like the Daily Bugle. So I feel like these Lego sets are kind of like that intersection of like, I want this display
Yeah.
of these iconic buildings.
Yeah.
But
and all the characters too. I think that's probably what's going to sell a lot of people too, is just being able to get that many.
yeah, and sometimes with these sets, you can't really get the minifigures. They might have shown in previous sets, but sometimes there's like minifigures that you only get in here. I feel like you get a Kevin Feige minifigure in this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be that'd be funny.
And the gift with purchase is said to be a Black Panther taxi with when you get the Avengers. And so there's like a little taxi. I think you get a Black Panther minifig and some other kind of, I think there's might be another minifig. Since we're talking about Marvel Recado, I need to watch the finale. Have you watched any? You're caught up? You've seen the finale?
Yeah, we just watched it. I mean, obviously we can't talk about spoilers, but
okay, no spoilers.
Really, but really good. Like, I think, yeah, I think this is definitely one of my favorite Marvel shows for sure. It's especially after the second season. Yeah, it was a really like for me, I didn't expect the ending to go down how it did, but yeah, it was gonna love it. Yeah,
I've been avoiding spoilers left and right. I'm dodging on my Instagram. I'm just like swiping because I'm so excited to see it. I've loved this season. I know a lot of people haven't really loved season 2 as much as season 1. I don't feel the same as a lot of these.
Either. I mean, I think both are different enough, and of course, like the first one is really, really good. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're equally just as good.
Like, I mean, I think season 1 is a little bit better, but they're good for different reasons. I really love Mobius and Loki's dynamic. Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson on screen are magic.
So good.
Miss Minutes, my girl,
Miss Minutes
is a psychopath. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, also,
I know
this is
now the more that I'm looking at this, I probably have seen that sweater.
You have seen it. All my variants, all my boys.
It's an awesome sweater.
Yeah, Kevin Feige minifig is hilarious. Loki is just so good, and you're right. The score is really good.
Yeah, that's very true.
Chef's kiss. The design, I can't wait to see the finale. I'm like a little sad it's gonna be.
Let me know your thoughts as soon as you watch that.
I definitely will. Next we have.
So I love the Peanuts. I think honestly Charlie Brown was one of my first like comic strips I ever read from what I'm thinking. So it's something that's always been important in my life. And I love watching like Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin. So when I saw these, I just had to share them. This is something that is definitely on my list. Yes, I agree. Super7 is amazing. I have some other smaller figures, but this is one that it's a little more up there. So I don't know if I'll ever get it, but we'll see. So they Super7 did a Peanuts collection, which has a bunch of like the iconic looks from the Great Pumpkin. So as you can see here is Lucy in her witch mask and costume. And I guess you can probably, like from what I've been seeing, like you could switch out the mask and probably the dress as well, so that you can have Lucy just look like herself with the witch hat. And these are called the super size. I don't remember
are they really big?
Yeah, I don't know like inches wise, but they're probably like this, I'm guessing.
Oh wow,
they're pretty big. So yeah, that's their super size collection, because they do a lot of like smaller figures, like they do a lot of like little action figures, ones like that. But I've
almost gone down the rabbit hole. I have almost, and then I'm like, bring it back. I don't need more action figures. But I remember seeing Super7. I think, Candace, I sent you pictures because I was not familiar with this brand until maybe a couple months ago, and I saw them at a toy store, and I saw that they did Disney kind of action figures, and I was like, Alice in Wonderland, and I've never seen. it was just so well done. And I was like, what? This is so cool. And I saw like some of the peanuts and
Yeah,
I'm
I've
so
been
excited.
following them for a while, like on social media and some of the things I've been able to get. But yeah, they're Disney figures. Like they have like more of the action figures that you can like change out like the faces and the expressions and stuff like that. So I really love the Lucy one, especially like her witch mask one is
So
one of my
good.
favorite like I guess looks for her. So I even love like just the packaging and stuff too. So I think I had one other one I was sharing. Let's see. Yes.
Oh
So of
my
course,
gosh. I love this.
so of course you have to have Charlie Brown, right? So this one is it's just funny
The
to
ghost
me.
sheet. Good
Yeah.
morning, Gore.
Morning. Yeah, so of course you have to have Charlie Brown and just have him in his regular like Halloween look, which what kills me though is that in his little baggie is his rock. Which is so funny because of course that's like one of this like at least for me, like me and my mom, it's always very quotable about like the I got a rock kind of thing and just how depressing. Like poor Charlie can never catch a break. Like, he's all his friends get candy and then he's like he gets a rock. Um so it's really funny. And I love that they have his like he can wear his little like ghost costume, has his little rock. It's adorable. So I mean, if you could swing it, I mean, it's great to have Charlie and Lucy together. I'm trying to think if they made any other Halloween ones. Not that I can remember, but I know that I believe there's a Snoopy one. I'm not sure if it
That's
is like.
so cute.
I,
I'm like obsessed with the little ghost.
oh yeah, I love it so much, especially because like as we shared in our last like our Halloween episode, like I love Halloween, so it's
Yeah.
just I mean ideal. I love this in my collection, but I don't I don't know. They
How
are
much
really
are
big too.
they? Like, what is
I
the
think
price
at
point?
least 200.
Yeah, they
I
have to be
think.
really big then if they're that size.
Yeah. I want to say it was at least 200. And I know they have Peppermint Patty, like just regular outfit. I think Snoopy. Not sure if it's the Flying Ace one where he's in his little like piloting outfit. Maybe. Trying to think if they have any other ones. I don't know. They sell a lot of like smaller Peanuts figures as well. I think it was them that they just came out with. I actually saw it yesterday when I was out. They have like a 2-pack of Linus and Charlie with the little Christmas tree, and it's in a oh my god, so cute. And those are like probably like this big in a little set. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
if you like this kind of figures, yeah, Super7 has like amazing ones. I think there is an actual store in California somewhere. I'm not sure where. I wasn't where I was. That was for sure. But I know like
Thankfully, Candace would have come back with so much.
well, I mean, probably not if it was that big, but yeah, I would have been in trouble. But yeah, I really love these. Yeah, just they're perfect scale, super cute, and I love that they come with like more than one like
Yeah.
outfit too. That's really cool.
Oh my gosh. I'm never gonna get over that the Charlie
The
Brown.
little bag.
It's a rock. Next up we have Witchwood. Really quickly, Gore, I know you just joined. You should watch the beginning half. I went into the Collector Summit, but I was talking about some writers like Philip K. Dick and Ray Bradbury, and just knowing you, and I know that you read a lot of like novels and stuff. I feel like you would just appreciate it. But Witchwood, I'm obsessed. It is.
Yes.
I've been playing it on a Switch. So that character in the middle, that has like the little horns. So
Mhm.
she's a witch, which I love. Like when you think of a witch, like that's not necessarily maybe like the design you think of. And on the
No.
left, that's like her little hut, cottage home. And so the premise of the game is that she's been asleep for some time, and when she kind of comes out, all of her things are kind of overgrown, and she meets a goat who's kind of like this like devil goat. Seems like all of the cartoons and the characters are actually really cute, though. It's very like a
Mhm.
cozy game.
Yeah.
But he's like, you do not remember you made a deal with me, X, Y, and Z. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you have to like kind of like live up to your deal. There's like a sleeping maiden that you end up discovering. And kind of in order to figure these out, you have to deliver these souls to the goat. And so what you then have to do is you go around these different lands collecting herbs and hair of the dog and all, water, and you create certain things like spells. So you'll discover things where it'll give you like a spell, show you what the ingredients are, and then you get to craft it. And then you kind of take all of those like potions and you're able to complete certain quests where you're like helping different people that you meet along your travels. Very like there's a bear that's a general. There's all of them have really cool kind of like fairy tale-esque drawings and tropes. So I love it. It's really fun. A lot of it is like you just kind of like skimpering around these lands, like collecting like little things. And it's something you could really get lost in if you like Animal Crossing, if you like those kind of like farming games, but you want a little bit more of a narrative and storyline and quest. This is perfect because I find Animal Crossing a little boring and a little too slow, mostly because I don't feel like I need like an end goal, and Witchwood is enough of like you can kind of prance around and do as you like and discover other quests, and then you can kind of choose which quests you want to complete first. So, but there's a narrative and storyline to it. So you have a lot of freedom, but then within the context of this like larger story arc. So I played it like for like 4 hours, like last like 2 weeks ago or something like that. It was amazing. And I was like completed 2 quests and I was like, I think I'm like halfway there.
Really fun. Yeah. You're definitely selling me on it. I know you've been playing this
really fun.
A lot. And yeah, just while I was researching for this, like I was looking at all the artwork. It's really beautiful. I like that, of course, like someone that loves just like witch stories and stuff. It's cool to see a different kind of take on it, and even just like with the design and everything. So was this a paid or free game? Do you remember?
So it's paid. I think I paid $20 for it, which is incredibly cheap for just like how good it is. And the witch is like a little old lady grandma witch. So she gets like a little cranky and she's like, I'm too old for this. And I'm like, I feel you later. I was like, I love it. She's like, I just want to be in my cottage, like sleeping. And I'm like,
same girl, same.
Yes. So yeah, it's really fun. It's really cozy. It's perfect for like this time of year. Sedpool, yes, you should play it. I also think something that kind not reminds me of, but I feel like the people who play that game would like this game, like Cult of Lamb, which is
I was thinking of that as soon as you
kind of where you're kind of just like bouncing around, but you're not like fighting people. Cult of Lamb is a little bit where you kind of have to like fight people. My boyfriend played that and was obsessed for like several weeks straight. And just like he's like, I have to build my cult. But I'm like, it's so funny. I love these like little games where you're just like these like little animal characters.
Yeah, I know. There's like so many in the what's it, like the digital shop, all these like really good indie games, and I'm always like interested in like, oh, what's that? Because I mean, you hear about like all the licensed stuff like Mario, Animal Crossing, all even the Disney stuff, and like it's cool to be able to explore like another game that's like totally original. So
yeah, highly recommend. It's one of the best games I've played in a very long time.
Wow.
I'm not. I can get pretty bored pretty quickly with games, and I have so many, as everyone knows, a million other hobbies like Lego and reading that it has to be really good for me to stay in it. Pokemon is one of those that like when I get a new Pokemon, I'm like in it for like at least a month and a half, but then like in order to get back into it, it feels a little bit more difficult. Like the Arceus. That one is a lot of like free range Pokemon. Like, you're just like filling up your Pokedex, and it's really cool and really fun, but you have to really love like those games where there isn't as much of an agenda or I'm like, give me someone to fight or give me something to do where I could tick it off. And I guess like the Pokedex and evolving your Pokemon is that kind of like quest, but it feels a little too large for me to get like so into it. It's a beautiful game, but I got more into Pokemon Sword and Shield than I did that. And so Witchwood is kind of like my perfect kind of game. So for me, this is like, it hits all of the check boxes.
Yeah, I can relate with that too, though. Is like I know we were even last time we were comparing like Animal Crossing and Disney Dreamlight Valley, and like what Disney Dreamlight Valley does better than Animal Crossing is like you were saying, it gives you more of a purpose. There's like they change the objectives every season. You get certain items every season that you can get. You go on quests with the different characters. So like I feel like there's always something to do. And then when there isn't and you're waiting for the next season, then you can focus on, okay, I'm gonna just collect items, I'm gonna decorate my town, whatever. So I feel like it's a good balance for sure.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. If you are into kind of cozy games, middle of the road, a little bit more purposeful than Animal Crossing, Dreamlight Valley, Witchwood, these are for you.
Perfect. Yay! So I'm really excited about this one. So I actually started listening to this, but I haven't gotten that far in it. So the cast, or a good chunk of the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, has returned for an original audiobook that's in the Buffyverse, which is really, really, really cool. I think I love seeing when the cast is able to return and do another story, like how like Scott Pilgrim's going to be doing that, which is almost out. I think it's coming out this week.
Oh, is it really?
I believe so.
Oh my gosh.
It might be Friday. I don't know. I already know I'm planning on watching all that. But yeah, so it's exciting, like when you're able to use the same cast. It's not like Sarah Michelle Gellar is not in it, unfortunately, and like the main three. But a lot of the villains, like Spike is in it, and Drusilla, and Cordelia, Anya, a bunch of those. So I started listening to it, and it's from what I'm gathering, it's kind of look at my notes because I don't 100% remember the whole story, but it's good. Yeah, so it's a decade after the final battle of if you guys have watched Buffy, it's after that. So that's one thing the comics continued was, after that, and kind of did like 12 seasons, or no, they ended at like 7 seasons, and then I think they went 8 through 12 after the comic. But here it's going to be right after that, like a decade. And it's just, again, going to be about like all of the Slayers. They don't just have one Slayer anymore. They have all these different ones. And of course, like people are always like bad guys are always after them. I did read that there is, oh, very nice. Yeah,
That's cool.
I've seen him at a con. It might have been C2E2. I think I went to one of his panels, which was really, really fun. I really liked him in what was it called? Oh, The Runaways. Also, I never finished that series, but I liked him in that as well.
That was a Marvel series, right?
Yeah, but that was on like Hulu.
Okay.
It didn't last that long, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, and then I also was reading that apparently, like in some kind of other Buffyverse, that Cordelia is supposed to be a Slayer as well instead. And
interesting.
For people that you watch, of course, you know that she's definitely not a Slayer. And that she's like in the season 1, she's like kind of like the mean girl type of character. So it's kind of funny. That she would be a Slayer in this case. So yeah, I'm really excited to kind of listen to it. Oh, did you start it? Okay. Yeah, well, she got hers on Audible, so we're able to share that, so I've been listening to it. But what I liked about it was it actually feels more immersive, and the chapters are called episodes, which is neat. Because it just reminds me then of like the actual show. And then they have like it's very immersive in the fact that it's like sound effects. Like it's
they
not
have
like
the Dolby Atmos aspect too, so they're putting in a lot of work, it sounds like, into the audio.
So it's not like you're listening to necessarily like a regular audio book where they're like describing this, like the setting and all those. It's more of like if you're hearing it to an episode of Buffy, basically. But yeah, if you are a Buffy fan, I mean, I feel like if you're not, you're gonna probably not understand it as much. but it's really cool seeing that the cast came back for a whole new story in a very unexpected form. I honestly wouldn't have known it. Like they have a bunch of other Buffy books out there that they've been making since probably the 90s and then more recent. But I think it's cool that it's in this kind of format. So I'm excited to keep listening to it.
Audible Original, they're really diving into it. It seems kind of like these nicher markets where, like you're saying, that Slayers might not be for the person who has never watched or read any Buffy, but is perfect for the people who like love Buffy. They just came out with an Audible Original Moriarty, which is for people who like love mysteries but really love Sherlock Holmes. And so it's interesting, and there have really famous actors and actresses in these casts. So I'm curious to see where they continue to go with Audible originals, because I think these are going to be really popular, but it's interesting to see them kind of doing Audible originals that are so niche, that are like really targeting a specific audience, which I think is smart, because I think they'll end up creating kind of more of like a cult following. So I feel like anyone who's like, oh man, I love Sherlock Holmes and I just want more, is going to probably want Moriarty. And then like anyone who's like Buffy, I feel like you're going to get a lot of new people to Audible who are like, okay, like maybe I don't do audiobooks as much, but like I want to listen to this because I love this show. So it's interesting to see them also bringing in Audible original format with an IP from a different kind of medium.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so if you have any Audible originals that you recommend, I think I have an Audible credit. I've never watched Buffy, so I don't think this one would be for me. And I'm not a huge mystery person, so I also don't think Moriarty would be for me. But if there's anything that is outside of those, then I would, I'd be really curious.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. Yeah, I usually will use for audiobooks, I use Scribd. Hold on, let me just see what you said. Yes. I think those are the ones I started out with. Because I was like, Buffy was one of the comics I got into like right away when I started kind of rediscovering comics again. Dark Horse, I think that's the one you're talking about, is the Dark Horse run, or the first Dark Horse run. Then the one that this one that I was talking about earlier is also, this is Boom. This one's the Boom one. So they have Dark Horse, Boom. I'm trying to think of how many different ones they have, but yeah. What is this reading? Letter, Mike.
That's interesting. I've never read Hellboy.
A couple issues here and there, but yeah, that's cool. I feel like there was something else I was gonna say about it, but I don't know. I forgot what it was.
All right, we have our comic besties back issues, which I am.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's see what you read.
Did you read Dazzler?
I did read Dazzler.
Okay, we can start with Dazzler then.
So how many times have you read this?
I've read it. You know, I've honestly read maybe the first issue, maybe like 5 or 6 times. It's not like but I forget. I have a memory of a goldfish.
Yeah, me too. I can't. I was telling this to Carlos the other day, because a lot of times like we'll rewatch, like I think we were actually watching Loki and they had like the recap. I'm like, I know we watched this yesterday, but I forgot what happened. So he's like, how do you not remember? I'm like, I know, I can literally remember something from like when I was like 5 years old. Like this happened. I remember every detail. But then you asked me, oh, what did you watch last time? I'm like, I don't know. What did you read? What did I read?
It's perfect for our friendship, because I feel like you and I just will retell stories to each other and we will be like, that is the first time I've ever heard that.
It just makes it exciting. So yeah, I was glad that you decided like let's reread Dazzler. Because of course you got me into Dazzler first. We actually both have the same edition too. You have the one that has the white pages or the, what's it called, the black and white.
The Error.
The Error, yeah.
Yeah, so this one I have both. I have the one that doesn't have the error, and then I have one that has the error. I read the one that does not have the error in here.
Yeah, I only have the one that doesn't have the error, but I also have one that's like a DC Essentials.
Yeah.
I am getting that vibe for sure. I have the yeah, that's like what sold me, honestly, was just that she was like from the 80s. That's like one of my favorite just like decades of like pop culture and everything. So yeah, she with like her. I feel like she's getting more love lately, especially with all the rumors about who's gonna play.
I swear, if I start seeing Dazzler comics, because I've not finished my run, if I start seeing Dazzler comics like go up in price, I'm gonna be so mad because
I know, because like
$1 bin lady. Which, you know, I mean, I always want people to appreciate Dazzler more because she deserves, I think she's such an amazing character and so fun to read. But I'm kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, if the Swifties come for her.
Right? Yeah, I don't know, though, that won't necessarily get people into comics. So, I mean, that would be cool if I guess that was a segue, but
Taylor Swift fans are of own.
It's so funny. Yeah, I'm curious what's gonna happen with all that. But yeah, it's a really good like first issue. I've read some of the other ones that were like her first appearance. Like in the DC Essentials that I have, it's all in black and white. So it's cool to have the actual issues to be able to see the color. But that one I think was like with Spider-Man. This one, of course, does have the X-Men in it, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start collecting more. You and me really have to find out like what we have and like help each other build.
We should do that. Graham Cracker is having a sale the 17th and 18th of 50% off back issues. And you know the Dazzler is going to be in those back issues and they're not going to be expensive. They're going to be like 50 cents.
The 18th.
My dad and I are going. You should come to the Graham Cracker in the suburbs, you and Carlos. And we should.
I think Carlos is getting a tattoo, but I will come with you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We should do that. That would be really fun.
Okay. But yeah, we need to figure out what we have and stop buying the same issues for each other, and it's a whole nightmare. I mean, Haley, do you have this issue?
I feel like that's constantly we'll repurchase issues, and then like because we'll have it, we'll like ask each other if we have it and need to gift it. But yeah, especially with Dazzler, it's been like because some of the covers just like blur together in my mind. But okay, so just for the first issue, I forgot how many, and I think this is one of the reasons I loved Dazzler so much upon like discovering her, is that you just get everyone in her comics. Like they really bring, you get the X-Men, you get Spider-Man, you get like the Asgardians. And I'm just like, it's like you're bringing the band together. Like I love, like, I don't know, to me, I really like that. I know that I think some people are like, you don't get Dazzler as much alone. Like they kind of are always filling in like these bigger characters in her stories. But I really love these like kind of like team up story stuff. I don't know about you.
Too. Yeah, no, those are some of my favorites as well. And like I gravitate like when I'm comic hunting that I want to get like a lot of the team ups, especially I think I collect a lot of the Spider-Man team ups since he's one of my favorites as well. But yeah, I think it just makes it more immersive into the world where she's just not off doing like being alone. Like I mean, she does have parts that like you already start to get to understand like her character, and I really like her character a lot. So I'm excited to like keep reading and like see how it develops. Plus, I just love her outfit. I actually let me see if I can reach the visual aid without falling. Hold on. I should actually get off.
While Candace grabs that, just kind of speaking to her character, I really like how they made her just like this really smart and strong female character. She did pre-law. She was a lawyer. She's also incredibly talented in singing. She has like a passion for the arts, and it's just like I just love that she's kind of like, I want to live my dream too. And you know, you get these hints of loneliness that she's experiencing. She just feels like a very real and relatable character.
No, that's very true. And that's always my favorite kinds of characters. Like I've mentioned why I love like Miss Marvel and Spider-Man. They also do touch on like her family dynamic, and like of course like her dad wanted her to be a lawyer, and she of course wants to be a singer, and just kind of how, you know, that can be the case with a lot of people, just where their families unfortunately don't support what they actually want to do. So that part is also relatable. But yeah, we'll show you real quick. Haley, I actually got this for Haley. Like I think your first birthday I spent with you, but then I ended up getting one for myself. But I got the little like Dazzler.
I love it so much.
She looks awesome with her little roller skates. Like, come on! I mean, just like the look is just honestly one of my favorite like character looks. I think from Marvel. Like
definitely,
yeah.
Um, it definitely will say also reading issue 1, it made me want to like actually dive in and read the rest of her
Yeah.
series.
Actually finished the series.
Actually finish the series. And I don't know that is not always the case with some first issues. You read
So
them and you're like,
hard,
that
yeah.
was good. But this was like, I was like, I want to continue reading. And I've read some of her issues like here and there. I haven't done like a full, I'm sitting and I'm reading the full run through. But I want to. I feel like that's
We need
the
to hold
goal.
each other accountable on that, because so that we actually can get through. Because like, I've read between having like the actual issues and then my essentials. Like, I feel like I've gotten like a couple issues in, but then obviously like you and I both read like 20 different things at once. So I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go back to Dazzler, but I forgot what happened. So
yeah, we should do
story of our
that.
lives.
Maybe that's the thing we do. We read the Dazzler series. I don't know. We tell each other this all the time, and then we
No, but I feel like we need to do that. Like, make it a goal.
What other back issues did you read?
Yeah. So, well, going with the theme of rereading. Although I did get farther now, which I don't think I mentioned in this show. I don't think, but Wicked Things.
Huh. I don't know that I've ever heard you talk about it.
Okay, good. I was like, wait, I don't think I've talked. I think I did read it for a show, but I didn't end up talking about it. We had to narrow it down. But yeah, so this is actually a mini series, unfortunately. Now I feel like you actually would like this, Haley.
I already really like the art on the cover, just like the way the character is designed.
So why I gravitated towards this in general was because of the writer and illustrator, which is let's see, let me give his actual name. Hold me mute so I don't. Okay, I don't want to like make that noise in people's ear. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Give you the actual one. Because the last names are on there, but I actually
Dazzler's relationship with it is before Rogue joined the X-Men. Good background check. Ooh. I need to look into that. I want to.
I know. Now you're just giving us more reasons to read it.
Thank you, Dora. You're motivating us.
Yeah. So this one is created and written by John Allison and art by Max Sarin. So they're the writer and illustrator for Giant Days, which is one of my favorite series that I actually have completed and read through the whole thing. It's a very much like, I know, right? I got like the single issues too. That was like when I had to get single issues all the time. And it's a pretty long series. But on my list is to like actually collect like their library editions. But yeah, so that was like what drew me, because theirs was very much like slice of life. That one was about like a group of girls in college that become friends and live on the same floor, and kind of the like shenanigans they go into. But this one actually is about Lottie, and I feel like the writers and illustrators they are British, or maybe because a lot of times their characters are from the UK. Like you can tell like with the language, which is really fun. But yeah, so this one is about Lottie, who's, I think she's maybe like 18. She's about to go off to college. But she's actually like, she solves mysteries, which is really, really fun. Already the vibes were giving me like, if anyone's watched like Only Murders in the Building, kind of.
I haven't seen that, but I know a lot of people really love.
Me and my mom love that show so much. And I think they just had, how many seasons now? 3, 4.
Maybe that's my new show. Maybe I try that.
That's on Hulu for anyone. But just because like a very like comedic mystery type of show, that's just kind of just reminds me of just like, it's like not like a horror comic. And the characters are just really, really fun. Basically she gets nominated for like I guess there's some kind of group of just people that are solving mysteries, like I guess they call each other detectives, I guess, or sleuths. And she gets nominated, and then somehow she ends up like while she's supposedly like receiving the award, she's like someone kind of how how do I say? Basically she was like away from the actual award ceremony, and she ended up finding a character that actually died. Because I think she went to go look. Oh, yeah, that's right. She went to go look for him to talk to him, and then finds out that he was dead. And it's kind of like almost like she was like planted there, like she like to make it.
So it's like an amateur sleuth kind of.
Yeah. So it made it, but it made it like that she. It gets better because it made it look like she actually committed the murder, and she actually gets arrested, and she actually is working for the cops because they're like, oh, I think you did it. Like everybody, no one believes that she didn't do it. And we know she didn't do it. So she's actually helping do like solve like the mysteries or for them in general. I don't know. I got through like 3 issues out of 6.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Hopefully I explained that a little better than I think, but
that's going better than usual.
I'm bad at explaining stuff, but yeah. So these are some of the issues.
Oh, I love that.
Which artwork. Are really cute styles.
The Giant Days artwork is always really, really, really fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, I highly recommend it if you like, Scooby Doo, Only Murders in the Building, just like that kind of like fun mystery. And it's not like because she is younger, it's not written in like a YA like kind of vibe. It's if you like Giant Days, you'll like this as well. It's like all age, kind of all ages, but yeah, I highly recommend, and I'm excited to read the rest. Like once I started, like I reread this one, and then I flew through like the other 2. So
yes. Nice. I love when that happens. Where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going. You're in like the groove of it. So I've been traveling a lot, and really busy, and I had a conference yesterday for work, so it's just been back-to-back filled weekends. So I read Dazzler, but I didn't read any other comics this past week. But I brought in 2 that I want to reread, or that I find are really rereadable because I've read them more than once, and I wanted to just talk about and recommend. The first being Deceased, Unkillables. It's written by Tom Taylor. I mean, this is probably the longer, like kind of like the further away I am and have been from reading it, and every time I revisit it, it sticks with me. And I have to say that the Deceased line by Tom Taylor is probably one of my favorite series, which is really interesting because it's like DC has never been like my main like focus or love, but the way that he gets you to care about these characters is just so well done. And so if you have not read any of Tom Taylor's Deceased, I highly, highly recommend it. I remember it almost made me cry at one point, and I was like, this is so well done. And so I was flipping through this, and was getting like really excited to read it again. So that one, and then I would say Middle West by Scotty Young. I have volume 2, so I want to do a reread of this.
Me too.
But when I read the first one, it's one of those, both of these are comics and graphic or series that have stuck with me where, when I'm months later, I'm still kind of thinking about them. And the artwork is just so good. Scotty Young is like,
I know. Yeah, that was when I read, I think I'm in the same boat, honestly. There should be another one. Because I do have 1 and 2, and was there a third?
I think so. There's a compendium.
There's a compendium, yeah. At this point, though, I have 1 and 2, so I'm just probably gonna get the rest, unless I want to get the hardback edition.
Oh my gosh, I know what scene you're talking about, and it is. Yeah, there's just so much emotion in Deceased, which is like not at all what I think a lot of people had anticipated when you first go into it, because you're like, it feels like a post-apocalyptic and maybe more actiony and kind of like zombies, but it's so emotional. So yeah, those are my like 2 recommendations and things that I might kind of want to reread and things that have like really stuck with me just because I haven't had time to dive into all of my back issues. But the Miss Marvel is like sitting there, and I want to read that and prep for the Marvels movie that I want to go see it in theaters.
Same.
Do you have any other issues?
Yeah, just one other. So this I found the first issue recently, but I'm gonna probably read the rest digitally because I think I got it a deal through Comixology. But it's actually the Batman versus Bigby.
The Fables.
So I love a good crossover. And this is really cool because Bigby is actually from Fables, like you're saying, which is another series that I need to read through. I've only read volume 1, I think, which is really good because it's kind of like a retelling of, well, not necessarily retelling. It's like fairy tale characters in like a modern setting, and it kind of gives me like Once Upon a Time vibes where they're, what is it, like they kind of just have like more like human personas.
Yeah.
I would say it's also a video game. I think it's Wolf Among Us, which is on my list to play. Have you ever played that?
I didn't even hear about that. That sounds really interesting.
It's an older game. I'm trying to think what platforms you could play it on, but I don't think they ever like switch or anything, which I really love to play. But so it was a good first issue, but the thing was it didn't really get to actually like introducing Bigby into it until like the end.
Oh, okay.
And so now I have to read the rest because I need to see kind of how it connects. It's like very Batman heavy throughout the story. Basically just kind of I think they're saying that there's been a lot of like wolf attacks and murders and stuff like that. So then it's kind of like, okay, is it him that's doing it? Which from what I've read in Fables, like that doesn't seem like that would be him.
Yeah.
Or is it kind of just made to look like it's actually him? But Bigby is like more of like a detective. So I'm kind of curious like how that's gonna
play out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm trying to see, how long was this one? I'm not sure how long the run was. I'm guessing it's just like a mini series. But
the Criterion movies. This is cool. I've been looking at getting the Before trilogy from the Criterion Collection. I know that it's 50% off because I haven't watched it yet, but the box set too, that looks really beautiful.
What is it?
The Criterion Collection is like they do like a lot of like kind of like indie classic films, and then they do like, you know, like those steel books and box sets and things like that. And so Barnes and Noble is doing a 50% off sale of those like Blu-rays and whatnot. So
cool.
But yeah, I feel like that has to be a mini series because they did a lot of like longer Fable arcs, but because it's Batman and Bigsby, that feels like,
yeah. And well, it is like a cool crossover because if you guys haven't read Fables, I think it's by Vertigo, so which is their other course like under DC. So yeah, it's cool when you're able to kind of like, well, DC does a lot of crossovers, you know, like unexpected ones, like obviously Batman, Alien, Scooby-Doo, and Batman.
Basically,
the Hanna-Barbera characters,
like every other world.
Yeah, so it's really fun. So I'm excited to like read more of it. I think I have it digitally, so might be just like a quick like 5-6 issue one, and hopefully ends up something that I like, and I definitely like to read more Fables and eventually play this game because it looks really fun.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. But oh my gosh. And I are planning on doing yes. When you guys do that, reach out to me because I'm planning on watching it soon, and I'm really excited for it. The Before trilogy has Ethan Hawke in it. But well, thanks for joining us, guys. This was so fun to catch up, and we will likely be back in 2 weeks. That might be Thanksgiving weekend, right? But it won't be Thanksgiving, so I think we'll be back.
Oh yeah. The good thing is, we'll have some downtime, so then hopefully we can read for you, and
definitely more Dazzler.
Yes, we'll read more Dazzler for sure.
All right. Have a good morning, everyone.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.